Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Zach Mohr, and this is my new venture that is Mohr Book Reviews. If you haven't guessed already, this is my journey and what I want to share with the world of really my love for books, my love for reading, and yeah, everything about that. So I came up with this idea because, you know, I think books and reading kind of have a stigma to it. You know, they have, unfortunately, there are people who tend to think that people who read books are nerds or geeks or whatever, and at the end of the day, if that's the case, then who cares? You know, but I think reading can be one of the best teachers. It can be one of the greatest things that we can do on this earth, and especially the fact that, you know, for those of us that are lucky to still have our sight, you know, if we're in our 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, you know, I might still have healthy sight. You know, if we can still read, you know, why don't we? And so I just want to explain sort of what this whole journey is going to be about. And it's a journey that I'm doing it for myself, definitely to keep myself accountable for, you know, 2020's reading challenge. And for me, my love for reading started probably, well, 2016 or so. And I didn't really get into it when it comes down to, you know, setting a goal until 2018. 2018 I said, I'm gonna read 100 books. That was my goal. I grew up, and my brother, he's notorious. This is a fun family story. He was in reading class in elementary school, and he got in trouble for reading too much. And I think what it said on his report card or at a parent-teacher conference was he always has his head buried in a book. And so, Kyle Moore, shout out. So with growing up with that, I didn't really care about books that much growing up, but as an adult, I've come to really fall in love with them. I worked at a Christian bookstore for about 4 years and gathered a lot of books. I went to school to be a pastor, so with all those books and classes, I got more books. And yeah, I started to fall in love with it. And so 2018, my 100 book goal, I only got 70. You know, I got a new job, and it just, life happened, but I read 70 books. And I realized, wow, like, I learned a lot. 70 books. That's a lot of books to read. And 2019, I set a goal, I believe, for, I think 70 is what I set a goal for. And I read 20. I got married, so that kind of got in the way in the most beautiful way. Shout out to my wife, Valerie, who's also a reader. Love you. And then I thought, okay, 2020. I'm gonna cut it right in the middle, and I am going to read 50 books. And I was like, okay, this is doable. I can do this. I'm married now. I'm kind of set in this married life, and I got this job now. I'm kind of more settled in. I got used to everything. This is a good year to set for 50. And I want you to join me. This isn't just about me. I don't post these to, you know, stroke my own ego. Honestly, I love hearing what people are reading. Just today, my cousin, who I haven't talked to in that long, messaged me just talking about a book recommendation. She's talking about books and what I like, what she likes, and it was really cool, you know. And books really are something that can bring us together. We can be, you know, our faiths, our, you know, genders, our skin color, everything like that. You know, it's like books can bring, you know, can bridge any of those divides. So to me, that's one of my favorite things about reading, about books. So obviously, want to do this YouTube vlog thing that I've never really done or whatever. I've had my funny Instagram posts, but never something as intentional or big as this. So what can you gain from this? What should you expect from this Mohr Book Reviews? Honestly, a couple things. About 5 to 10 minutes worth of a book review. Nothing crazy. I have a twofold sort of goal. The first one would be, honestly, to help recommend life-changing books. I'm going to be spending my time reading these, you know, ideally not suffering through them, but reading these books so I can truly recommend them to people, or not recommend them. If it's a book that I truly did not like, I'll be honest about it. And the second thing is, I don't want to bore you. I love my sense of humor, so I'll probably make some quips and jokes here and there, but I don't want to bore you. And again, I'm not used to, you know, the video sphere of things, so this first video and the first few videos will probably be relatively boring with nothing really in the background. But maybe I'll get better. Maybe I'll add an explosion right here or a book floating right here. We'll see, I don't know. So that's my goal. And with that, hopefully we'll change the stigma of what reading is and just the life of reading books. So some books will be inspiring, some books will be heart-wrenching, some of them will be both. But the beautiful thing about books is that we can always learn from them and ideally be better humans from them. So you're like, okay, cool, Zach, what books are you into? You know, because honestly, you'll be bored if you're not into what I'm into, or at least something that's similar. So obviously, you know, I'm a Christian, you know, follower of Jesus, so a lot of books that I read have to do with the Christian faith, and not all of them, but a lot of them do. So, you know, if you're a Christian, awesome, I'll recommend these to you. If not, I'm still going to recommend them to you, you know, because I think that there are people who write in such a way that can really maybe make it more, have it make more sense, and make Jesus make more sense to someone that, you know, whether isn't a Christian or not about it or whatever. And I've read a lot of those books where people just make it click. Even for me, that's been a Christian for about 10 years, it's like, oh, I wish somebody would have told me that when I first became a Christian. So, all that to be said, that's, a lot of them are going to revolve around that, but I also love biographies, autobiographies, most nonfiction things I can get behind. I'm not against fiction. It has been harder for me to get into fiction, to be honest with you. But my favorite author is C.S. Lewis, and Chronicles of Narnia is my favorite by far fiction books. So that might tell you a little bit kind of about, you know, what I'm into, as it were. I plan to post every week or so, maybe every week and a half. Not quite sure exactly what that'll look like. Some books will be bigger than others, so those ones might be a little longer. So, you know, I want to be consistent with it, not to, you know, I don't want to waste your time. So I will say probably, you know, every week or week and a half, I will post a new video just to keep you engaged and kind of what I'm looking at. And I always will take recommendations as well and tell me what you think. Now my current read is one that has been life-changing, and that's so cliche, but I mean it. And the reason it is so this is my first book that I chose to read for 2020, and it's a book that is not inspiring. It's not encouraging, you know. It's honestly about one of the worst things to happen in not just modern history, but human history altogether. So it's this one, which really needs no introduction of what it's about. I am on page 315 right now out of about 450, so I'm on my way to getting done, and it is one of the most sobering, painful things that I've ever read. And just to hear how humanity, one portion of humanity did such a horrible, evil thing to another portion of humanity. Yeah, it's just, I have to take emotional breaks. And I don't want to, you know, give any, you know, spoilers or anything like that of, you know, what I think of the book or reviews, because that's going to be what next week's book review is. My first one is going to be on that one. So I'm not necessarily starting the year out in an encouraging book, but I still think it's a very important one. And as the quote, and George Santayana said, and I think it's been falsely attributed to FDR or one of the presidents or something like that, but it's those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. So honestly, my goal as I read books like that is just to say, okay, what can I learn from this, and how can I be changed by this, honestly. So I choose to read and to remember, and that's specifically for this book, but any other books as well. So next week, like I said, my first official video number one, review number one, where I'm going to break it down, review it, and you know, I'll tell you if you should add it to your book list, or if you shouldn't. And that's going to be, you know, of course, a lot of opinion based. I still say read the book, you know, for yourself, but I'll give my opinion on what I thought of it. So that's kind of where I'm at, and that's who I am. Yeah, thanks for watching. Share with your friends, share with your family, share with your non-friends, non-family. I'm not trying to be popular, I'm not trying to be famous, you know, if that happens, cool, but honestly, just trying to keep myself accountable and share my love of books and hopefully talk to you fine people about books as well. So, I'm Zach Mohr, and this is Mohr Book Reviews, and we'll see you next week. See you guys.